Friends, we are with a situation which we discussed, unsound mind and all. That is, two different situations we discussed. Person generally is an unsound mind, occasionally becomes sound. When he is having sound mind, he enters into a contract. Person generally with a sound mind occasionally goes unsound because of drinking and taking drugs and all. So when he is of a sound mind only, you need to enter into contract, otherwise such contract becomes void, is the point which we are discussing. Sound mind is a question of fact. Again, sound mind is a question of fact. A person can make a contract only when he is of a sound mind and is capable of forming a judgment as to the effect of the contract on his interests. Whether a party to a contract at the time of entering into a contract is of a sound mind or not, again it is a question of fact to be decided by the courts. So, see, we entered into a contract with Divya, and at that point of time Divya is having a severe cold. Can he say that I am having unsound mind? No, because I took Allegra tablet. So, taking a tablets for cold, that also can be construed as that it is with unsound mind. Again, it's a question which is to be decided by the court, is a point, friends. Lunatic. Lunatic is a person who is mentally deranged due to mental strain or stressful personal experience. He suffers from intermittent intervals of sanity and insanity. He can enter into contracts when he is of a sound mind, intervals of sanity. Idiot. What is it? Idiot. See, whenever somebody says idiot, then why you get annoyed? Because what is the meaning of idiot? An idiot is a person who has completely lost his mental balance. So, if somebody says idiot, इसका मतलब क्या है? तुमको mental balance नहीं है बोल के बोलना क्या है? Idiots. So, idiocy is a permanency, whereas lunacy denotes periodical insanity. So, there is a difference between an idiot and insane. An idiot is one who is a permanent having idiocy, whereas lunacy denotes periodical insanity. So, agreement with an idiot are totally void, is a point. Drunken or intoxicated persons. Drunken or intoxicated persons have temporary incapacity to contract. They cannot enter into contract in their drunken or intoxicated state of mind, since they cannot form a rational judgment to that effect of the contract on their interest at that state of mind. Validity of the contracts entered into with such person are similar to that of a validity of the contracts which we made with the lunatics, is a point. So anyhow, although for studying it's a big paragraphs, but friends, please do remember, point is very simple, and in fact the whole lot of discussion, simple 4 or 5 points. Minor is not capable of doing the contracts, with a few exceptions, that where the contract is for the benefit of the minor, then he will be held liable for any breach that he commits. Similarly, a person with unsound mind also cannot enter into contract, more particularly when he is in the state of the unsound. Unsound mind comes when he is a insane fellow, or what you call a drunken fellow, while he is in that state of the drinking intoxication and all. So friends, with that, the subject part of capacity to enter into contract we completed with elaborately discussing all the points. Now, important points to remember from the examination point of view, just let us have a quick review of it. What we say, who is competent to enter into a contract? Person, first time revision this is, person who is of the age of majority according to the law to which he is a subject, then person who is of a sound mind, person who is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is a subject, a minor whose property has passed under the superintendence of the court of the words attains the majority on a completion of 21 years. So here first thing that you need to understand, who is competent to enter into contracts. These are the 4 persons, or these are the requirements to get the competency to enter into a contract. That is, must attain the age of majority, and person who is of sound mind, person who is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is a subject, and a minor whose property has passed under the superintendence of the court of wards attains a majority after completion of a 21 years is a point. Then friends, position of agreement by a minor. Agreement with a minor is void ab initio, no estoppel. A minor is not stopped from setting up the place of minority. He may plead the infancy to escape from being liable. So any person who at the time of when he is a minor enters into a contract, even if of making a false representation that he is a major, can very well plead for his minority. In case of fraudulent representation of the age by the minor also, the court, of course, there what we are saying, if the benefit which the minor receives out of that contract, if still there with the minor, court can always ask the minor to pay back to the other person whatever the benefit that he derived. So court can very well award the compensation to the other party when in case of a fraudulent misrepresentation of the age by the minor happened. No ratification on attaining the majority, that is the contracts which he entered when he is in he as a minor did can not be ratified by him after he attained the majority is a point. Then valid if minor agreement jointly with the major person, that is along with the major person, if he enters into a contract, then what is stated, the agreement made by a minor jointly with a major person are void vis-a-vis minor, but can be enforced against the major person who has jointly promised to perform. So if X is a minor, Y is a major, both together enter into a contract with a Z, then if there is a breach, Z can always sue the major person but not the minor person. Minor as a partner, what we said, minor can be admitted as a partner for the benefits and not for the losses. Minor can be an agent but not, he cannot be a principal. Minor can be a shareholder or a member of a company. Minor cannot be an insolvent, that is minor cannot be declared insolvent because he is not competent to enter into contracts. Who can be adjudged as insolvents? Only majors can be adjudged as insolvent. Who is insolvent? Whose private assets are less than the private liabilities, or other way around, private liabilities are more than the private assets, then such person is said to be insolvent is a point, but minor cannot be declared as a insolvent. Contract for the benefit of the minor, a minor can contract for the benefit of a minor, yes, in that case minor can very well be a party to the contract. Contract by a minor's guardian, so on behalf of the minor, minor's guardian may enter into a contract for the benefit of the minor. In such a case, what we are saying, that is the property of the minor can be very well be attached as a point. Then contract for supply of the necessaries, already we discussed elaborately on this point, that is whoever supplies the necessaries to the minor, as long as they can prove that they are necessaries, very well they can attach the property of the minor, so they will have a right against the property of the minor but not a personal liability against the minor is a point. Then of course section 68 covers the reimbursement for supply of such items of loans. Section 68 also covers rendering of the necessary services to a minor, claim against the property and not against the person. Already I explained it elaborately. Liability of minor's guardian, What will be the liabilities of the minor's guardian? Parent or guardian of the minor cannot be held liable unless the goods and services are supplied or rendered to the minor as an agent of the parent or the guardian. So guardians or the parents cannot be held liable for the contracts entered by the minor unless and otherwise these minors are acting as an agents of those parents or the guardians. Minor's liability in a tort, civil wrong, what we are saying, a minor may be held liable in a tort, civil wrong, but if in the course of doing what he is entitled to do under the contract, so if for a general civil wrongs he can be very well be held liable, but if on account of entering into a contract, if something wrong happened, then since he is not eligible or having a capacity to enter into a contract, he should not be made punished. Then friends, position of a person of the unsound mind. Who is a person of unsound mind? A person is said to be of unsound mind for the purpose of making a contract. Who is a person of sound mind? Sound mind, a person is one with sound mind if he can understand the terms of the contract and if he can form a rational judgment, then you can say that such a person is of a sound mind, otherwise he should be called as an unsound mind. Then a person who is usually unsound mind but occasionally becomes sound mind, at the time when he is of a sound mind you can enter into a contract. Similarly, a person usually of sound mind but occasionally of unsound mind, when he is in the sound mind only you can enter into a contract as a point. So the position of the contract with the persons of unsound mind is identical with that of the contracts of the minor. So both with the persons of the unsound mind or the minor, if you enter into a contract, such contract cannot be insisted as a point. Of course, that is their properties can be attached. Liability is not going to be a personal liability, properties can be very well be attached, provided these persons with unsound mind or minors are supplied with certain necessities and services as a point. Position of persons disqualified by the law, that is if the law says that so and so person is disqualified from entering into a contract, then if you enter into a contract, then those contract becomes void and you cannot sue the party is a point. So position of the contracts during the war, an alien enemy can neither enter into any contract nor can be sued in an Indian court except by a license from the central government. So you can't enter into contracts with the enemies and later on you cannot sue them as a point. Position of contracts entered into before the war, yes, if such contracts are against the public policy or the age such that may benefit the enemy, such contract stands dissolved. So any contracts which are entered into with the enemy prior to the war also stands dissolved. If such contracts are not against the public policy, then such contracts are merely suspended during the time of the war. If they are against the public policy, then they stand to what you call get dissolved as a point. Foreign sovereigns and ambassadors, yes, you can enter into contract but they cannot be sued unless a specific permission you obtain from the government. Convicts, a person is called as convict during the period of his sentence. So a person who is in jail, with him you can't enter into contract and you can not insist upon the performance of the contract. Contractual capacity of a company is determined by what? By the objects clause of the memorandum of association. So which kind of contracts company can enter into can be decided only by going through the objects clause which is there in the memorandum of association. Then friends, contractual capacity of statutory corporation is determined by the statute creating the organization. That is Life Insurance Corporation of India, General Insurance Corporation of India, all these things are the corporations formed by the act of the parliament. So any act done in excess of the powers given by the what you call statute, then they becomes void is a point. So insolvent, when you say a person as insolvent, when his debts exceeds his assets, he is adjudged as insolvent and his property stands vested with the official receiver. So such a person who is insolvent cannot enter into contracts and cannot sue and cannot be sued as a point. So basically what we are saying, just to have a quick sum up, who don't have the capacity to enter into contract, a minor cannot enter into contract, a person with unsound mind cannot enter into contract, a person who is prohibited by the law cannot enter into contract, an insolvent cannot enter into contracts is a point basically you need to understand. Now I move to the second revision. Second revision happens with the practical problems, discussing the practical problems. So have a look at, friends. After listening this much, it should be very easy to answer these practical questions. D. A minor borrowed a sum from M by executing a mortgage of his property in favor of M. Subsequently, D sued for aside the mortgage. Is the mortgage valid? Can M recover the sum advanced to D? Simple answer, that is, since it is a contract entered with a minor, it is void ab initio and cannot recover. How the answer got developed? Section to which the given problem relates is section 10 and 11. Decision: mortgage was not valid and money advanced to the minor cannot be recovered. Reason: a minor is not competent to enter into a contract, hence minor contract is void. See, friends, tomorrow when you are writing your main subject examinations in the IPCC, for the cases which they ask in the question, you should try to learn to answer in this way. Section to which the question relates, what is the decision and how you are coming to such a decision, the reason also you should be able to write. Then only full marks will be awarded is a point to be remembered. So try to get into the presentation how it is happening. X, on attaining the majority, gave promissory note in satisfaction of one executed by him for money borrowed when he was a minor. So this is also a simple point, that is, a minor cannot ratify his acts or deeds which he did as a minor subsequently on attaining the maturity is a point. So section to which the given problem relates is 10 and 11. Promissory note is not valid, hence cannot be enforced. There was no consideration. Reason is there was no consideration as a point. Then third, X executed a mortgage in favor of Y, a minor who has advanced the money. Is this mortgage valid? Yes, this type of mortgages are valid because what is it? That is, the mortgage is valid, hence the money advanced by X can be recovered. Reason, a minor can be a promisee is a point. So point of interest is, if a minor takes the money and puts his property as a mortgage, then such contracts becomes void. If minor gives the money and obtains a mortgage of property of others, definitely if the others don't pay, minor can very well insist upon the decree for that particular mortgage property. Fourth question, X, a guardian on behalf of Y, a minor, entered into a contract with Z for purchase of a mobile property for the benefit of the minor. Is this contract valid? So try to first understand the question. What is the question? X is a guardian on behalf of Y, a minor, entered into a contract with the Z for the purchase of the mobile property for the benefit of the minor. Is the contract valid? Yes, because contracts which are made by the minors, even for the benefit of the minors, can very well be valid contracts. That's the point. So minor can be a beneficiary, cannot be a party to the contract. In the given case, minor is only a beneficiary, so contract still remains what is it, as a valid contract. Next, fifth question, X, a minor, entered into a contract with Y to supply food and clothes to his dependents. Y supplied the same, but X refused to pay for the same. Can Y recover anything? Y is entitled to be reimbursed from the property of such minor. So either for the benefit of the minor or to the persons who are dependent on the minor, if any person supplies any services and goods, they can very well attach the property of the minor is a point to be driven. Then X, a guardian on behalf of Y, her minor daughter entered into a contract with Z, whereby Z promised to marry her. Later on Z refused to marry. Can Y sue Z for damages? Yes, because he can do it, because the contract entered by a major only, maybe beneficiary happens to be a minor. Just because beneficiary happens to be a minor, it is not correct on our part to say that such contract becomes void. They become still valid contracts only as a point. Then 7th question, X agreed to sell his property worth about 1 lakh for rupees 10,000 only. X mother proved that X was congenital idiot, incapable of understanding the transaction. Is this sale is valid? Yes. Point here is the sale is void because any contracts made with idiots becomes what is it? Void. Then finally the last slide is thank you, and we are going to do the multiple choice questions for the topic of 4, 5, 6, 7 after we complete the 7th topic.